I would like to prefix this with, I don't know that I'm a good person to give an opinion on this because I don't really have a stake as far as professional Magic is concerned. I've basically never played professional Magic on Wizards of the Coast circuit, in large part because the support for playing on Wizard circuit is not particularly good. And at this point, I don't really play competitive Magic much at all. I'm an entertainer and a memer. So let's read through this together really quick before we play some band. All right, so I'm Gerry Thompson, a professional Magic player, and I'm protesting the state of professional Magic play by refusing to play in the World Championship. Wizards of the Coast does not pay professional players a living wage. This, in and of itself, is not a requirement. However, the goal is to sell the dream of playing on the Pro Tour. There should be something in place to make that worth achieving. Between qualifying becoming more and more difficult, especially with the goalposts continually changing, and the lack of rewards at the top, the message currently being sent is don't waste your time. Yeah, I agree with that. I think, to be fair, I think the don't waste your time message is one that's been being sent for a while. I feel like anybody reasonable that looks at the prizes that Magic offers, like, probably understands that, like, you're not going to make your living playing professional Magic. Wizards does not promote its players well. Oh, Worlds is this weekend. I had no idea. How many people can you name of the 24 qualified for the World's Championship? Could you name 15? If you can't, don't worry, you're not alone. I have no idea. I know Owen Turtenwald is playing. That's, I think Brad Nelson and other Brad Nelson, Mike Segrist, are playing. There are not enough Pro Tour invites to sate the player base. As Magic grows, the top should grow to reflect that somewhat. Getting onto the Magic Pro Tour is already difficult, but it's nearly impossible for those not located in North America. Yep. The first or dead last system like PTQ creates very few people who feel like they accomplished something. Yeah, definitely agree with that. 3. Oh, I did it. I missed 3. WotC's communication is notoriously poor. The news cycle for the Pro Level system is confusing, even for those who created it. Coverage is abysmal. Over the years, they've received countless feedback, and Worlds is using a pair of dead formats that were barely advertised. Why would anybody want to watch that? I do agree. We talked about this before this, but I do agree that I think that coverage has improved a lot at the Grand Prix level, but it's actually weird to me. While coverage has improved drastically at the Grand Prix level, it is wild to me that we still don't have things like time-shifted feature matches for the Pro Tour. Why is Grand Prix coverage better than Pro Tour or World coverage? Like, is World this weekend going to have time-shifted matches? It probably won't if it follows Pro Tours of the past, but, like, that's the biggest thing in my mind that's improved Grand Prix coverage recently, is the addition of time-shifted matches, and Pro Tours still don't have that for some reason. With people like Alex Bertoncini and Jared Bochetter playing Magic, it doesn't send a strong message that to those who would consider cheating. I'm not comfortable with these thieves being allowed inside tournament halls. Wow, that's great. I fully agree with that. That is completely and totally agree. Basically, Magic, cheating in Magic tournaments is like stealing from the other people that are attending that tournament. And the punishment for getting caught stealing when you're cheating isn't even that you have to pay the money back. It's just you get to keep the money, you take a couple year timeout, and then you get to come back and cheat some more until you get caught again. Like, it's really terrible. As I write this, I'm sitting in my Las Vegas hotel room waiting for the tournament to happen. We had to show up on Tuesday, despite most of us having no commitments until midday Thursday. Deck lists were due Tuesday, which basically meant Monday because of forced travel Tuesday. Plus, all the information was communicated very late, which threw off many of the competitors' plan. To be fair, they did have to organize 24 entire people getting to the same location. So a small indie company like Wizards of the Coast, it's probably difficult to coordinate travel for 24 people. Leading into Worlds, we were spammed with 9 emails of varying importance. Buried in one of those, a rather lengthy one, was a paragraph about needing to RSVP by a certain deadline if you wanted to have a +1, which led to a tweet from Ben Spark about how his girlfriend wouldn't be allowed in the venue. Several others chimed in that they were in the same situation with their significant others. Alrighty, yep. This was eventually fixed, but certainly not before it caused a bunch of unnecessary stress on the competitors and their loved ones. I understand and respect the reasons for increasing security, but this situation is another instance of WotC's poor communication. Yep. These are things that should be very easy to do, especially for a company that's been doing these things for as long as Wizards of the Coast has and has as much money as they have. After the Pro Tour 25th anniversary, players had to figure out team series rosters for the next year and scout for potential sponsors, but it's impossible to do due to the lack of information WotC has given us. Is there a team Pro Tour? What if members of our team fail to achieve gold status the last half of the season? No one had answers to any of these questions, and we were told to wait for more information and still don't have answers. I'm going to put this all up on YouTube. Leading into GP Sao Paulo, Wizards Magic BR account made 4 tweets about the GP starting only 5 days before. They mentioned that 3 artists at a panel with 2 WotC employees, nothing about the tournament itself, and nothing about the reigning player of the year and or most recent Pro Tour champion in attendance, and nothing about the tournament itself. There's room to promote new sets, artists, cosplayers, and players. Better yet, work with players to help promote these things. I agree. It's sad in a way that I wouldn't be surprised if there's more people that are invested in Magic that like know who like I am and know who Newmont are and know who like Caleb Durward are than know who the people are that playing in this Worlds tournament, right? Like these, you should know at the very least they should be as well known as us who are personalities here, right? Like, and that's a failing on Wizards' part that they're not better promoted. Remember Pro Tour Dominaria when Channel Fireball's green-blue Karn deck was somehow posted on coverage? Their entire tournament was potentially ruined and all they got was an apology. So this part I kinda disagree on. Well, I guess I understand where Gerry's coming from with this point here. I do think that it was crappy of coverage to spoil one particular team's technology, but people that are familiar with me also know that I think just all the data should be public. Big Hearthstone tournaments and like other esports things, they're all about data. A lot of large Hearthstone tournaments, players have to submit their decks like a week or more in advance, and the deck lists are public going into the tournament. Like, they should publish every deck list from the Pro Tour the day before the tournament. And they should have tons of interesting stats and metrics, and they could fill downtime coverage talking about lots of interesting things from that data, in my opinion. Everything surrounding the Silver Showcase was a disaster. You're not wrong. If you want to get fresh eyes on Magic, there are diminishing returns on inviting 3 Hearthstone pros who likely share some chunk of the same audience, 2 of whom were former Magic players. Yep, the Silver Showcase, I agree here with the sentiments. The Silver Showcase idea in general to promote people from other games playing Magic is good, but to try and do that with a beta draft was like absurd and stupid. It was very, very poorly done. Budget for organized play is already small, and occasionally a large chunk of money funneled through this is wasted on things like this. Yep, it's definitely a sting. What I'd like to change, the star build. This doesn't come at the expense of something else. Don't be too proud to take note from some of the things SCG does. Create player-driven narratives, do interviews beyond deck text, have slides with player information. Professional players are the least utilized tool at WotC's disposal. Many of them have large Twitter followings than some of WotC's official accounts, but don't have the budget for players. That's cool, we understand. However, a kit detailing what sponsors can expect from a broadcast would be incredibly helpful, as they are mostly interested in visibility. The Pro Tour Team Series was supposed to make things easier for players to get sponsorships, but you were one of the many who didn't know Worlds was this weekend. That should speak for itself. Yeah. Hire commentators who can follow the game and are familiar with the formats and provide engaging commentary. Other things like production value and how to make limited interesting can come second. Flashy animation, bright lights, and a huge purse might make players check it out, but the commentary isn't engaging, they'll leave. That's true. I do think Wizards has done a better job rotating in more commentary and getting more people in recent years, but I definitely think that there's always room to improve that and like train people who are good and new to be better. Create more Pro Tour invites. Yeah, that's definitely a problem. Like, as someone who, and you may or may not know this, during my 3 years spent playing a ton of SCG Tour events, I currently hold the title for most SCG Open top 8s while failing to win an Open. It's I am a professional quarterfinalist as far as SCG tournaments are concerned. All or none tournaments suck. Like PTQs and even RPTQs to a degree, like those tournaments, if you don't win them, you feel like you got kicked in the dick after playing them. You feel bad having played in the tournament, and you should never feel bad having played in a tournament. You should be playing a game for fun. And if your tournament system is like making people, if you top 8 at a tournament and you feel bad that you lost in the quarterfinals, like the tournament's probably set up poorly. I'd like WotC to value working relationships they have with partners and various community members. Their actions have indicated that they feel everyone is replaceable, but that's only true if you don't care about your product and or the community being the best it can possibly be. There's an FAQ. I'm not going to go through the FAQ stuff here at the end. I think we talked about it a little bit. That's interesting. I agree with most of what he said here. It's really this didn't cost Gerry anything. This wasn't free for Gerry. This cost Gerry something, right? Like, for those that aren't familiar with the World Championship, which there's a good chance you're not because it's not well advertised, the World Champion has a guaranteed payout, and it's a big purse. Like, it cost him something to go on and do this, and like he's protesting this at the cost of money. Yeah, he's probably not going to get his minimum payout. So, props to him, especially as someone who's like playing Magic. I'm not sure what Gerry does outside of Magic, but like a $12,000 payout, that's probably a pretty significant amount of money that he would make for the year from Magic tournaments. All right. And if you didn't catch all of that, wow, that was like 10 minutes.